Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition, and today we're going to debunk a myth that there are bad signs. Nothing is ever a bad sign. Our human mind wants to label one sign as good, one sign as bad. A black cat crossing your path, that's a bad sign. A ladybug, that's a good sign. When I was growing up, a praying mantis was a good sign. Grasshoppers were a lucky sign. Actually, praying mantises might have been a lucky sign, I don't remember. But you see where I'm going with this. We have, based on the collective, certain signs, certain things we see mean certain things. Just be aware of what you're labeling good or bad, because the higher aspects of us are never going to send us a bad sign. It's going to send you clues along the way of what's coming up, what might have to end, what might not have to end. We put the emotion around whether it's good or it's bad. There are some timelines we're in that if we saw, like if we're going to work and we get a speeding ticket, someone would say, wow, that's a bad sign. Maybe this means that, it means a lot of things. To me, normally when that happens to me, it means if I get a speeding ticket at any point, it means I need to slow down in every aspect of my life because I'm not paying attention. That's one of what my signs means. It's not good, it's bad, it's just letting me know information. It's imparting information on me in the outside world, because we tend to pay more attention to the outside world in the beginning because it's in the physical. So if something's in the physical, then we look at it. Whereas if I dreamed about getting pulled over by a cop, probably wouldn't register with me back when this was happening to me. So we tend to label stuff here and there of what's good, what's bad. But look at what it is. Look at what it could be trying to tell you, and don't get into the good or bad. You're going to feel good or bad about it based on how you feel about the situation it's pertaining to, or what you think it's pertaining to. Like if I see a black cat cross my path in something, I don't look at that as a bad sign. It could be telling me a lot of different things. You have to look at the situation it's in. It could be telling me a timeline's ending. It might be telling me a timeline shifting. If I see a graveyard, for me, that's normally a sign the timeline's ending. But for other people, it might not mean that. But if you're really attached to the timeline you're in, you're going to label it good or bad because of the emotions it brings up. But all the signs are there to sort of give you a preview of what's coming next. We always know it's coming next, in a sense, because it's already happened. We usually have the signs. Our human doesn't look at the signs. Our human doesn't have a lot of interest in the signs, which is a very challenging thing in the beginning, because our soul and our higher aspects speak through signs in the beginning, because we're not at a frequency to really hear it or see it. Our body's not at that frequency to be able to do that yet. So it needs other things. But when we're superhuman, sometimes these things have to have a collective past to them, sort of a history to them, for it to get our attention. That's why back in like the 1800s, early 1900s, when they would do seances, it was very physical. Everything was really physical. Things would fly off the tables, chairs would fly up in the air, because it was trying to get attention. Different aspects of us were trying to get attention in a different way, because people were more obsessed in those times with just survival. And it wasn't about anything not physical, because the physical world was so challenging, they weren't open to those things. It's hard to be open to higher consciousness when you're trying to figure out every day how to survive. That's why things change, things shift. The signs aren't as big. Sometimes the signs are big. We can see in the last couple of years that a lot of the signs for people have gotten a lot bigger. A lot of realities ended very quickly because it was time for them to end. We have a lot of collective shifts. But there's no good, no bad. We just put our frame around it. Your human's going to try to judge the sign. Don't judge the sign. Acknowledge if it gets your attention, it's a sign. You're sending it to yourself. It's from yourself to yourself. It's from your future selves, in a sense. Different vibrations of you trying to tell you, yeah, unless this shifts, this might not have legs going forward. And in some cases, you might be happy about that. There was a time years ago, if I knew a certain job was going to be ending for me, I'd have been happy about it. I would not have looked at some of those jobs and been sad whatsoever, because I didn't really enjoy them. So it depends on the story we put around it and the feelings we have about it. But look at the judgment of the signs. Everything is there for a reason. Everything is there to help us out. There's nothing there to scare us, but it might evoke an emotion of fear, and then you have to look at it because that's what it's there to do. It's really for us to be positive. Positive is probably not the word I want to use. It wants us to be present. That's the word I want. Present as to what we're looking at. Look at what happens when you're with certain people. Look at your signs. Look at different patterns you put in there. Start decoding what's in front of you. But don't judge the signs. Just because you see something that collectively people would put some kind of connotation around it because they judge it as good or bad, doesn't mean you have to. You decide what it means. You know there's no good, there's no bad. Not really. It just is or it's not. This is gonna have legs or it's not gonna have legs. It might not have legs now, it might have legs later. That's gonna depend on you. Look at what happens when you're with certain people. You'll be surprised the similar signs that we have. We don't just have one. You're gonna have a lot of them. Start paying attention. What does it mean to you? Sometimes we'll see the signs first when we're dreaming, and then we can carry them over. Sometimes we just notice them. If you're noticing it, it's a sign. Maybe that should have been the title of this video. How do you know if it's a sign? Everything's a sign. If you notice it, it's a sign. It's a sign for you. I could drive by something 100 times with 100 different people, never notice a graveyard on the side of the road. The minute I drive by with one person, I'll see 18 graveyards. And I know what it means. Or a funeral parlor. That's another one. That's another big one that tells me the timeline's about to take a big about face. Not good, not bad. It just kind of gives me the heads up to start detaching from it. They're more helpful, if anything else, because they do give us the opportunity to start detaching from things. Letting it go. Don't try to hold on to it, because then it's going to be a rough ride. So keep identifying your signs. Keep practicing the art of intuition.